I'm Brian Professor B. Davis. This is your San Francisco 49ers postgame recap on Niners Radio on this Christmas Eve here at the Hyatt Regency Hotel right across the street from Levi's Stadium at the Mecca in Santa Clara. And it's kind of a little bit of a subdued night, post-game recap, subdued because of this on Christmas Eve. And the 49ers prevail again, extend their winning streak to 8 in a row with a win over the Washington Commanders, the franchise formerly known as the Washington Redskins, winning this on Saturday afternoon on this Christmas Eve by a score of 37-20. The Niners continue their role. They're getting that momentum for the playoffs. The Niners will give you just a recap of the game. As this segment has been presented by Ticketmaster, the official ticket provider of the NFL and for your San Francisco 49ers. So let's take a look at the of the game, and as we scroll down, recap, it was scoreless in the first inning. In the second quarter, Ray McLeod rushed for a 71-yard jet sweep motion and put the Niners up 7-0. Then Tyler Heineke passed and hooked up with Jahan Dotson for a 4-yard touchdown that tied the game at 7-7. Then Brock Purdy connected with George Kittle for the first of as he ended up for first of 2 touchdowns of the game. That was a 34-yard touchdown and made it 14-7 in the third quarter. Then Purdy hooked up with George Kittle, 33-yard touchdown. It was 21-7 San Francisco. Then Heineke connected with wide receiver Terry McLaurin down for a 3-yard touchdown, and it was 21-14. Fourth quarter, Robbie Gould, who continues to be solid gold all year long, his first of 3 field goals. He hit a 26-yarder. It was 24-14. Then he hit a 23-yard field goal. It was 27-14. Then he hit a 35-yard field goal. It was 30-14. Then Carson Wentz, the veteran, came in out of the bullpen, replacing Heineke. He connected with Curtis Samuel for a 20-yard touchdown. The 2-point conversion missed it. It was 30-20. Then CMC, Christian McCaffrey, put the game away for San Francisco, and it was a 1-yard mill for a touchdown. That was all she wrote on this Christmas Eve. 37-20 was the final score. Let's give you the stats of the game. 21 first downs for the Commanders to the Niners 14. 7-13 third down efficiency to 4-11. The Commanders were 0 for 2 on fourth downs. The Niners made 1 out of 2. Fourth down efficiency, the Commanders were 0 for 2. Niners 1 for 2. Total net yards, the Niners 371 total yards to the Commanders 349. I'm still got Redskins in my brain. Passing yards 218 for the Niners, only 270 for the Commanders. 153 rushing yards to the Commanders 79. 51 total plays to the 69. 15 of 22 completion attempts for San Francisco for the 49ers to 25 and 34. Total rush plays 33 for the Commanders, 26 for the Niners. The Commanders had 2 turnovers. The Niners only had 1. They sacked 3 times. 3. The Commanders 2. And penalties. The Commanders 6 times for 51 yards. The Niners were penalized for only 4 times for 25 yards. Time of possession, 3 minutes and 35 seconds for San Francisco it was 3 minutes and 35 seconds for the Commanders to the Niners, 26 minutes and 25 seconds. So let's look at the stats presented by Zenni. Zenni, the official eyewear for your San Francisco 49ers. For the stats, Brock Purdy, 15 out of 22 for 2 touchdown passes. Ray McLeod had a sweep rush for 71 yards. He had 12 yards in punt return, 1 for a kickoff. He had for the day 106 all total yards, averaging 12.2 yards per touch. George Stone Cold Kittle, 6 catches for 120 yards. He averaged even 20 yards per catch, had 2 touchdowns receptions. CMC, 15 carries for 46 yards. He had a 1-yard touchdown run in the game. He had targeted twice with 2 catches for 21 yards. So all in all, for McCaffrey, he ended up getting 65 total yards on the play on 17 carries. So it's 65 yards on 17 carries or touches with an average of 3.8 yards. Brandon Ayuk, 7 catches for 7 targets for 5 catches, 81 yards, averaging 16.2 yards. Robbie Gould was a perfect 3 for 3. He booted 3 field goals, 4 for 4 as extra points. Mitch Wisnowski, maybe the best punter in the NFC, maybe all of football. He ended up getting Wisnowski averaged 2 punts, 40 yards. The longest he had was 41. And then for the Guardians is that the Guardians. Heineke was 13 out of 18, 166 yards. He had a touchdown pass. Carson Wentz, 12 of 16, 123 yards with a quarterback rating, 117. Brian Robinson, 22 carries for 58 yards, averaging 2.6 yards. And then Terry McLaurin targeted 5 times, 4 catches for 77 yards, averaged 19.3 yards. And Gerald Dotson targeted 9 times, 6 catches, 76 yards, averaged 12.7 yards. And so with the win, the Niners now extend their winning streak. They're now at 11-4. They will mark the second time in the last 4 years that the 49ers will have at least 11 games or more. Or 3 of the last 4 years they've won at least 10 games or more. The Niners remain at the number 3 seed for now, as on Saturday, the Cardiac Kids, Minnesota Vikings, pull off another miracle as Greg Joseph's game-winning 61-yard field goal gave the Vikings the 27-24 win. So the Niners remain 1 game back behind the Vikings for that number 3 spot with only 2 games left to play. And then for the Guardians, they remain at the number 6 spot. The number 6 spot for that wild card, for the final playoff spot for the wild card positioning in the NFC, because Detroit lost on Saturday. Also, the New York Giants, who do have the tiebreaker over the Commanders at this point. So, Niners will join their Christmas on Christmas Day. They'll get a few days off. Then next Sunday, 1 week from tomorrow, we'll bring in 2023. The Niners will be in a city that never sleeps, Las Vegas, Nevada. They'll make their first ever trip to take on their old rivals, interconference rivals, versus the Las Vegas Raiders in Las Vegas at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. Kickoff time, 1:05 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That game will be on Fox. Then the Niners will be right back here at the Mecca at Levi Stadium 2 weeks from tomorrow on Sunday, January the 8th. They'll take on the Arizona Cardinals for the regular season finale, and that game will be either 105, 125. That will be on Fox, as well as the Niners. If they could continue to win, if they could win at least their final 2 games in the and the Vikings, who loses one of their final 2 games, the Niners will be the number 2 seed, and they are guaranteed to host at least 2 playoff games through at least the divisional playoff. And then, of course, the Dallas Cowboys knocking off the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles, who still have the best record in the NFC, has still yet to clinch the NFC West, but the Niners can keep on winning with all their players coming back from injuries, and with Elijah Mitchell coming back, and Deebo Samuel probably should be back in about 2 weeks time when they get ready to play the Arizona Cardinals in the regular season finale, this Niner team can be dangerous, and we'll see what happens. And if the Niners continue to take care of business, if they win their first 2-round playoff games, and if the Eagles were to blink in their opening playoff game in Philadelphia against Dallas or whoever, then the Niners would host the NFC Championship game, possibly 3 games if they were to get there. So, for the latest news on 49ers news and so much more, go to 49ers.com. And we got a Niner fan right here. Come here. I like that retro John Brody throwback jersey. That is a nice throwback jersey.
I was at the NFC Championship game, 1970 at Kezar, the last game.
The last game. I do my runs and workouts at Kezar Stadium. I live in the city, born and raised.
Good.
And it's now all renovated. So I kind of.
It's very different.
And this week yesterday they talk about the 50-year anniversary of the Immaculate Reception. It also marked the 50-year anniversary of that devastating heartbreaker when the Niners lost to the Cowboys in an NFC divisional playoff when they lost to the Dallas Cowboys, and Preston Riley botched that onside kick that set that game-winning touchdown for the Cowboys, and that loss sent the Niners into a tailspin for the rest of the decade, and they would not get that. That was the closest they get to a championship of any kind until Walsh, Montana arrived there, and they turned things around in 1981, and they paid back the Cowboys with the catch and the first Super Bowl win, which really launched a dynasty for San Francisco. But I enjoy that jersey. I'm very inspired. I want to make jerseys for the players of the past who don't get, have won a lot of games, though.
Yeah, okay, Brody was the original, right?
Yep. John Brody, he was a legend. Great Niner. All right. So we'll talk with that 49 fan complimenting on that throwback jersey. So the Niners will be back in action next Sunday, 1 week on New Year's Day, January 1st, to take on the Raiders in Vegas. 105 kickoff game will be on Fox. Latest news on 49ers, go to 49ers.com. Shop for your 49ers merchandise for NFC West Championship gear. You can go to the team store at 49ers.com over at their flagship store. They're open daily Thursdays through Tuesdays from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. And I think on Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. And that's where you can get all your 49er gear as the Niners march towards the playoffs. That's it from here, from the Hyatt Regency Hotel here in Santa Clara. On behalf of the San Francisco 49ers and all the 49er faithful, wherever you are across the globe, we wish you and your family a very Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays as your leading reporter and program director of Niners Radio. 49ers football, faithful then, faithful now. Go Niners! Merry Christmas, everybody.